This is called In Heath. I awoke in summer from a dream of lust. Rainwater blown on my face through the sifting window screen. Heat lightning shorts the radio's static air. Restless turning on moist sheets of institutional blue. She is only a shade, clock's tick of loss, the heart's insistent murmur, or now the clop of shod hooves on wet pavement. The neighbor's mare from down below is in heat. She has untethered herself, nosing the smells in a foaming sweat on the humid night air that off and on relieves itself in rain. A mixed-breed buckskin, she comes trotting blonde in the darkness to where our geldings nod by the gate. She is unbridled, and my father, in his bathrobe from his bed and cigar smoke, tries to slip one on her head. She has awakened something in them. They nip and jostle each other to get at her. Not a stud among them, but none resigned to skittish tease her. There is a flash of teeth, a wheeze and whinny, a spook in a blue-black eye when she breaks his grip and clears the stone wall on a stride. She cut through the herd like a wild, white streak. I am in the middle with a coil of rope, and for a minute I want to drop it and plunge my fingers to tear at the coarse strands of the hair of her mane and mount her on bareback and fly and ride toward the border of the tree line. Our horses are rearing up and dancing around her until they freeze in the headlights of the neighbor's truck and the slow approach of the shadow figures of her owner and his son coming to take her, saying, "Easy, girl, easy," as they lead her back in a borrowed halter. My father tells them not to be cavalier about the danger of a loose horse, but they are silent and return without thanks. But the night is coming when we will awaken to a winter sky on fire from their barn burning from neglect, and see that mare bolting from the flame and heat across the snowfield. This is called How the West Was Won. Smokey came from a Nevada Western auction, a young stud used to desert grasses. He'd never seen such green as our pastures, and he buried his nose to breathe in the timothy and heather. Lean, headstrong Mustang, growing big on grain and rainwater, he could snap your arm like a dried twig with a jerk of his muscled neck. He'd search to strain the weakest parts of the fence. No twists of wire were going to hold his thunderous circuits long. He spied the neighbor girl's little filly, and when she'd ride by aloof in English habit, we had to nail the stall door shut to contain his ardor. We had a stud before trample down a barn door to knock a prize mare up. The other horses eyed the darkened stall where he was kept, and shied away when he'd stick his flaring nose through the window slats. As the lone stallion, he kicked the shit out of geldings twice as old and twice his size for a crack at our old mare. "I'd like to mate him with a good horse," my father said, "but we're going to have to castrate him if we're going to integrate him with the rest of the herd. He'll be a better animal for it." The vet came one morning for the operation. I was lighting a fire for breakfast in the kitchen when my father came through the door swinging a white metal bucket, holding 2 leathery blue-balled marble veins. "Fry these up with some eggs," he said, crudely japing, but instead he took them and fed them to our German shepherds. And I swear I saw a mythic shine in that bitch's eye, and by the end of the day she cleaned out the chicken house and the rabbit hutch, coming to the door with the limp puppet of a cottontail in her mouth. Smokey wore a red badge a while and survived a brutal hazing. Plump and docile, you wouldn't say domestic. He'd become the nuzzling favorite of little children, and with certain pick, should some passing mendicant need a mount to ride side saddle in amongst them. Something tame and benevolent from the wild end of a Western legend. This is called The Last Days of Blaze King. Winter is the way to gauge the falling blade of old age across hard frozen fields of silver frost on brown grass. Blaze is just past my age and won't last another winter. He eats and eats and eats, but can't gain weight. toughened hide is stretched taut across a sharp frame of old bones, and sunken, tired eyes need sleep. We still have the papers to show his royal strain of blood, and he always had the haughty carriage of arrogance and the streak of cruelty that marks the gentry of a spoiled class. He'd snap a bale of hay from your hand, step on a bare foot coming out of the gate, and take a scoop of grain if he had to knock you down to get it. Though an excellent athlete in his prime, he seemed to hold the burden of being ridden as beneath him. He'd see someone approach with a saddle and gallop to the end of the paddock, not to be tempted back by the common lure of sugar or apples. He held himself above the others, but now his gaunt frame stands apart because he is dying on the chill wind that ripples the flesh strung on the bone harp of his ribcage as we steel ourselves for winter. He will be put down before the first real snow buries the farm in this stark season. I return and he is gone, and a new horse is breathing steam and powering the ice for the frozen hoof, and for the blaze of white on his face we call him War Bonnet. Back to the two-legged animals. This is called passive smoke, and this is for all my library pals. The courtyard in winter is left to smokers and the men in rags. Pick it up again when you swore to quit. Nobody beats the game. A stick, a spike, a nail. Blue smoke swirls with cold air, stings the lungs. Ah, the familiar taste of bitter. Vessels swell with tiny shocks to the nerves and heart, the tremor of embrace. Regulation bullets, uniform cut, treated to burn evenly. Tinder a sulphurous spark, fluid ignites flash, a torch at the four cornices, gray-white overlapping gray ash flake falling in the empty fountain. Smoke flares nostrils, chew up the raw pinch till you spit. A cloud of pigeons coo and copulate, flick the burning tip to scatter them back on the gravel path. White seismograph line of salt corrodes the boot that grinds the butt that makes the end of brake. Chained to habit, hand to mouth, creatures of habit on habit hung. This is called Wholesale, and it's for my old friend the professor, sitting over there. We'll give a miss to the dreary wake of Alston bookstores, loaded stalls and beers. Warmth in December is rare. We'll drive clear to Wingasheek and Singing Beach, impulse trip to Gloucester. Boot heel half-moons dance in the sand painting of brown swirls and black gold. Gulls leave a trail of broken crosses when they walk across it. Mixed signals flare conversation. Women are prayer and poison. Work is penance and confession. Frail yeomen pace the bridge beneath the ancient wheelman and his frozen Mac. We grip the rail and sight the cedar leaf of gold, rolled in the wave crest, the promise I recited to you from memory. Salted air keens appetite. I must be fed. In the Portuguese cafe, I sit with my back against the wall like a gangster. Everyone is smoking here. It is broken into beams through slats of shuttered light onto checkered tablecloths. You'll take only beer, tang of hops to spice and loosen the tongue. You dip a crust of bread in my plate when I cut you a piece of seasoned meat. History is alive in that old man behind you, with a wooden beaded rosary floating around his neck, a mumbled patois grace over a frugal meal, his good eye tearing uncontrollably, rolling down his face. Yours are variable, cloud and clear by turn. I watch for storm warnings when you remember California and the rest of America. Lady Rose and Lady Bernadette are listing on plum wine water mingled with oil. Soft-shell crabs litter the wet brick walkway. Olson sits oppressive as the church on the hill. Will clock each other yet with his Leviathan Maximus. The day is gone as gray as Sterling's beard. All the way home it is our fathers, and we the legacy. Gone all quiet now, we don't even play the radio. Dark along the Charles black channels until we see the city's neat geometry by the river. The Hancock Tower has thrown 10,000 mirrors against the sky. cloud silo takes winter's temperature and reflects back on us in a shimmer of light. Some nights it all connects and glows, disperses darkness, revealing you to me, and shows us how we live like this.